Hello, welcome back to Law Unfiltered. So today is actually Raya already by the time we post this video. So Selamat Hari Raya,
Selamat Hari Raya.
and I hope everyone had a safe journey back to their hometown and will have a safe journey back home later on at KL. And while everyone is celebrating Raya today, we are going to answer a myth question. When you hit an accident on the road between a motorbike and a car, whose fault really is it? Is it really automatically the car driver's fault? So we are going to talk about this today together with a special guest, Marvin.
Hello everyone.
Welcome.
Great to be here.
Really? Are you being forced to be here?
Not really.
Good, that's the right answer. Right, so let's start with the most basic principle first, okay? When it comes to driving on the road, whether you are a driver, pedestrian, cyclist, motorcyclist, be it whatever it is, as long as you're on the road, then you owe a duty of care to the other person who is also using the road. So what do we really mean by that is that you have to act in a way that is reasonable, not driving like a mad person and endanger another person's life.
Yep.
That's what we
Try
call.
not to drive like a bad person.
Yeah, that's what we call as a reasonable skill and care, which is what we call it in law as a duty of care. Now, obviously, if you drive like a mad person at 3 a.m. on the highway, racing with your friend, that is endangering another person. Or, for example, you are trying to cut to the other lane without signaling, obviously that is also negligence.
Yeah.
Unsafe. Or like if you're a motorcyclist, you try to filter through the cars in between lanes, that is obviously endangering another person as well, not only another motorcyclist and also the car driver. So now that we know what is negligent, I think we all know what is negligent, like in a way we just
It's just applying it to the scenario only.
was I negligent at the time when I drove here? I think so. But at the end, caused an accident, definitely
Don't be her. Do not be her.
Anyways, for the sake of jokes, yeah, jokes only. Okay. Now we all know what is negligent, what is duty of care. How does the court decide who is negligent? After, like, for example, after you get into an accident, so what is the first thing that you do? Lodge a police report, right?
Yeah, so when you get into an accident, I think the first thing is to remain calm. Because a lot of people, including myself being in an accident before,
Yeah, we're like,
you are either
accident.
a lot of emotions will go through your mind. My car is damaged. The
Who
other
is this
person comes
idiot?
out and he's in his own emotions.
Yeah.
And everyone is in a ruckus. So the first step is to collect the data of the person who has either hit you or you have hit. Get the name, IC, phone number, and keep that first.
Yeah.
And also number plate, most important.
Yeah.
Keep that information. Go to the police station after that. Now, if your car is not in a position to be driven to the police station,
So you have to call the police.
call a tow truck.
Yeah.
Don't get the tow truck guys that appear 2 minutes after the accident occurs
Oh wait, that's
and-
so common.
and tells you like, buddy, don't worry, I can sort you out. Nah, get your own insurance tow truck guys.
That's true.
Bring it to the police station, lodge your report. So there's a few steps in the police station. You lodge your report first. After you lodge your report, you will then be called over to the investigating officer's room.
Yeah.
So in the room, he will take your statement. He will ask you where the location was, which way you were driving and which way the other guy was driving, and how the accident happened.
Yeah.
Now, if you are the person who hit, let's say if it's a scenario where you hit someone from behind, so that's a clear-cut scenario that it's your fault. Negligence has actually been established that it's always the cars behind's fault.
Yeah, that's a bit biased because I got that before,
So
and I swear to God, it was not my fault. But then because I'm the one at the back, so it is my fault.
this is biasness.
Yes, it is biased.
So more often you will need to go and talk to the IO first, and the other guy will need to wait for you to talk first, and then he will issue a summons to the guy who the IO feels is at fault.
feels is at fault.
based on his investigations.
Yeah, which
Okay.
is what I gave him.
So the fine is, I think, about 300 ringgit.
yeah,
It's about 300 bucks.
Yeah.
So
And
then after that comes the whole insurance process.
Yes.
And again, this is in an instance where there's no injuries that have occurred. Of course, if there's an injury that has occurred right from the start at the accident scene, there'll be an ambulance that'll come,
yes.
pick the person up.
In fact, the
and so on.
police will be there as well. The ones that's
Yep.
like always like going around the highway, they will be there as well.
Yes, the Peronda police.
Yeah, when it comes to like such a very let's talk about like more like a severe scale of accident. We're not just talking about you just hit the person's car. I think that's fine because that's just monetary losses to either party. But what about like when it's so severe that it has caused injuries or death, for example? So like when it's so severe, when you have to go to court already, that's when all those kind of documentations would be important for the court to decide who was negligent at the time. For example, like police sketch plans. Were there any witnesses around at the time of the accident?
Yep.
Or footage from dash cam
Dash
would
cams.
definitely be most helpful. What else? You need to record statements from witnesses
Yep.
because they will be the one giving evidence in court later on to corroborate either the plaintiff or the defendant's statement.
So, yes, by the time it comes to court already, the plaintiff would already have a lawyer on board.
Okay.
So the plaintiff's lawyer would then normally reach out to the insurance company of the other party
Yeah.
to seek compensation. And then there's a notice which is statutory bound that the plaintiff would need to issue to the insurance company,
Yes. Yeah.
which is called a Section 96 notice. Then only after that they can proceed to start the case. Now, when they start the case, they will sue the defendant in his name, but the insurance company will come on board to defend the insurance to defend the defendant if the defendant has a valid insurance policy for the car.
Yeah. So that's when insurance is
Very
important.
important.
Like everybody has
very,
to have that.
very important.
Sidetrack a bit. I forgot to renew my license.
GG.
Thankfully, it was just like past a few, like 1-2 months. But I immediately renewed it because if you get into an accident with your license expired, that is a big problem.
You tanggung yourself lor.
Oh, so you have to make sure that your license is
Yeah,
running.
ve-
Okay, now we go back to the main thing we were talking
Okay,
about.
so the legal suit. So by the time it comes to the legal suit already, it's just as it is with every other civil litigation case.
yeah,
If you want to prove something,
you have to have
you have to have evidence.
Yes.
Of course, in accident cases, you will have independent witnesses sometimes. You will have the policeman who conducted his investigations.
Yeah.
You will also have medical practitioners, so doctors and specialists,
Yeah.
who will have to come and give evidence on their specialist report or the medical report that was tendered in by the plaintiff for his injuries.
Yeah.
Just basically to confirm his injuries and also to confirm his disabilities, if any lah,
Yeah.
that's resultant from the injury. On the defense side, it will only mainly be the defendant driver himself,
Yeah.
and
Maybe
if
some
he has any
witnesses.
other witnesses.
Yeah, to support his
To
defense.
support his defense.
Yeah. Now that we established negligence, okay, how the court decides who is negligent, okay, then we go to the part on the damages side. So the court has to assess damages, right? Obviously, situation usually is only two: either you are injured severely, or somebody succumbed to the injuries from the accident, unfortunately. So two different scenarios, and the court will grant two different sort of damages. For example, if the person is severely injured during the because of the accident, then what the court will see is like what were the injuries suffered. Then that is where the medical report comes in handily. So that's your evidence to show that you have suffered this and that injuries. how long were you unable to work, or is it that you are unable to work after this, then the court will provide loss of financial losses.
Future
Earnings, sorry, yeah. So future earning, how the court will decide on how there is this formula that the court has according to the Civil Law Act.
The multiplicand
Yeah, the
formula.
multiplicand form. So like if you are, say, 30 years old and below, I recall,
Yes.
then you are times with 16 years.
If it's below 30, it is 16.
16.
So you get, let's say if you get like 5,000 ringgit a month salary, they will of course minus off whatever you would also naturally expend for yourself,
yeah,
for
correct.
food and so on, because that extra is what
You
would be
spend on your
going-
own.
correct.
Just the necessity itself, the court will definitely grant it back to
Yes.
you.
So that amount will be times 12, and then times 12 for a year, and then times
Multiply
16 lah,
16. Yeah.
for that amount.
Yeah. But if you're like, say, 31 to 59 years, between the 31 to 59 at the time when you have suffered injuries, then you have to use 60 minus with your age and then divide by 2.
Yeah.
That all is the law itself. So these are what the court will apply when there is an accident happen and you are incapable of earning anything after that, right? And then pain and suffering, the court will also grant. What else? Medical and hospital
But
expenses.
for that, you will also need a specialist doctor to come in to certify that you are unable to actually work.
Yeah.
And this is where the defendant side will also send the
Their
plaintiff to
own-
their own specialist, and there will be a conflict usually between the two specialist doctors. So they will both come to court, they will both give evidence, and then the court will then decide which one is the right one to follow. The same actually applies in any injury in terms of the disability suffered. So sometimes if, let's say, you fracture your leg bone and there is a shortening after that, so your shin bone becomes a little bit shorter.
Yeah.
So what is the effect of that? Do you lose your gait when you walk? Or if he's a lorry driver, means maybe he can't really press the pedal a lot more. So these are all factors that will come in deciding how much to pay for that injury itself also in the disability. So for example, if let's say breaking your arm is about 20,000-30,000, right? Let's say it's about 20,000 on the low end, 40,000 on the high end. How you get it to the high end is if your disabilities are really severe. But if it's just like a normal thing and you can go back to work and everything
After a
is
few
fine,
months.
it should not be so high.
High,
You see, it may come to the mid to low range.
So I think it really depends on what are the kind of injuries that you've suffered, how severe it is. Then the court will decide accordingly. Actually, the court will not just side with one person simply because you are injured. Of course, you are injured. The court will give you something. It's just something that has to be adequate to what you have suffered. It has to be fair to both parties. So that's something that to keep in mind.
You still have the burden of proof lah. The plaintiff still has that burden of proof. Of course, to prove the negligence is one thing in the liability aspect of things, and then secondly to prove the damages in the quantum aspect of things.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
So that's the two parts to the legal suit normally lah,
Yeah.
in an accident case.
Yeah. So long as you have a expert evidence, I suppose to support
Should
your
be, get a very good expert.
yeah. But then there is another thing about like this expert evidence. Like usually doctors are unwilling to go against another doctor.
Yes.
So that is something you have to keep in mind. Not only the fact that you are incurring extra cost to get expert evidence, expert opinion. All of this is some hidden cost that you do not see when it comes to like trying to prove your case, but also the fact that some doctors will be unwilling to go against the other expert doctors. They have like a very strong
It's their
hierarchy
unwritten code.
thing. Yeah, like
to it.
now that is for injuries suffered. Now we are talking about victims who have unfortunately passed away from the accident itself. These claims then will be brought by the estate, right? The estate will come and sue the other side, and again you will have loss of what is it? financial dependency, right?
Dependency claims.
Yeah, dependency claims, because you have been relying on this person, the deceased, for living expenses and all that. Maybe the deceased is the breadwinner of the family, right? So now the estate has nobody to depend on financially. Then you can claim for loss of dependency, and then after that, again, there is a what is that, under the Civil Law Act, there is also a formula.
It's the same as the multiplicand also. So it what your age is at the time of death. So up till the age of retirement lah. Then for that one, you will need the evidence of the majikan, the boss, where he worked at, the pay slips, the confirmation of employment, and that's an additional witness also that comes lah.
Yeah.
In cases of non-death also, if there is a loss of future earnings and all that, also the majikan will come. The employer will still come also.
Right.
So in this case, it's dependency. Of course, you also have that additional burden of proving. Let's say if you're the wife and your husband passes on, you must say, my husband used to give me how much every month. How to prove? Some people give cash.
Nowadays, when people give cash, we are all bank transfer now. Do not use cash, guys. No, don't use cash.
So
who is going to prove?
the courts are more sympathetic in this proving
true,
this lah, you know, because of the various way people give money to their spouses or their children nowadays. But nonetheless, you still have to show some sort of evidence, whether verbally or otherwise.
I mean, obviously, my husband would have given me money. I am a housewife. How else do you think I got the money? Was from my husband.
To all the tai-tais out there lah.
If you're using your husband's credit card, kudos to you.
Hey, that can come in as evidence also.
Yeah,
Credit
there's
card
evidence.
statement.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not cash.
That can come in as evidence.
That's why you see, husbands should give credit cards to the wife. Cry a lot.
Take notes.
Take note, guys.
So yeah, there's just that additional element of that also.
Yeah.
And the other part is, of course, still the same like the previous one. Who caused the accident?
Yes, that's true.
Because I can give a case example of a case that I did once, where accidents can happen in many different complex ways. Like maybe I'm jumping a little bit ahead on this one.
Yeah.
It was a cyclist, a husband, and he was cycling on the motorbike lane of a highway. Okay, there was a pothole. He avoided the pothole, and the motorbike came and hit him. He fell. He died.
Oh my God.
In his post-mortem report, they found that he had atrial fibrillation. So that means he had a mild heart attack. So then the question came to court, did he die of the heart attack or did he die of the impact?
What about the question that did the impact cause the mild heart attack?
That's the thing. So we had to find that out in court through the evidence of the doctors.
But
So-
isn't it a bit... how do you...
Is the chicken and egg thing which came first, you know?
Yeah.
So it's very, very difficult to ascertain this in a death scenario. But in that case, however, the court said that no, he suffered it from the incident itself.
Based on which evidence?
The doctors
Who
who
said-
did the
gave-
post-mortem report
Who gave that evidence?
came to do, yeah. So you need these witnesses lah. What I'm trying to say is it's very important in establishing
to link
liability,
that
to link
damage.
the chain of causation.
Yeah,
you know.
correct.
Mm.
There's something in law, we call it the chain of causation, is that my negligence caused this accident, which then caused the injury to this guy. So that link must be
There must be
proven.
direct link.
Yeah,
Yes,
must be proven
correct.
directly. So I think in your case, the expert evidence was
So the
the
expert
very
evidence was
main
key.
Yeah, key.
It was key. And the other part also is, in that case, there was a third party that was brought in,
Okay.
which was the highway, because there was a pothole on the road.
Yeah, I see whose fault. Government's fault.
So the root cause of the negligence
Was actually-
began with the pothole. Because of the pothole,
Had to swerve.
he didn't swerve. He hit the pothole.
Oh, okay.
And then he fell.
Okay.
And then the bike
Was-
came and hit. So it's always this question of, okay, if the pothole was not there, would he still have got hit by the bike? Or if the bike was not there, would he still have died? You know. So there's always this what if questions, but the facts will show that it's going to be a portion lah, liability
Yeah, correct.
between the highway and also the motorbike that
motorcyclist.
hit. Yeah.
My gosh. Okay.
So liabilities, the liability side of litigating accident cases can be very fun. Trust me, it can be very, very fun.
Not very fun for the government.
Yeah, correct.
Okay. Anyways. Okay, other than all these things, what else can the estate claim? Bereavement. Yeah, 30K.
Yep. It's
That is
about
already set
30,000
already.
now. Yep.
Nothing more than that. Funeral expenses. What else?
about
Lost consortium.
No. It is normally about that much only.
How much is it?
Bereavement, funeral expenses again must be something that was actually expended.
Yeah.
So you can't just bring an invoice, you have to actually bring the receipt to court to show that it was actually paid.
Yeah.
And of course the dependency.
Dependency. Okay. So, what else have we missed out? Other than that, I think that's all that you can claim from like injuries. So, and then I remember that we talked about this previously. Like, there is a list, right, of all the injuries that you suffer and usually how much the court will grant. I think it's in one of the guidelines that the court has provided. So, like for example, if you have a fracture, so there is this amount that the court will give according to this guideline. So it's not up to you to decide how much you want as well, correct? It's
Yes.
also based on
It is so this guideline is called the Compendium lah, of Personal Injury Awards. It's actually by the Bar Council. It's actually a document issued by the Bar Council's Personal Injury Committee. So, but it's a very old one. It's revised in 2018 lah. So there are two ways on how the court assesses when awarding damages for the injury itself. One is to use this as a guideline, the compendium. The other one is to follow other case laws.
yeah.
So they will follow the injury in other case laws to compare to see whether the injury is of similar degree, similar types of disabilities, and so on. Then they can adopt that as also an award for this.
Yeah. So there's also something to keep in mind if you are facing any kind of lawsuits, you are trying to sue the other person for personal injury. This is something that you can look into as well. Now, the other thing that we can look into is, like I said just now. So, okay, let's go back to our question. Is it really like always the car driver's fault? So I think we've explained it's not, because you have to decide who were negligent at the time of the accident. So if the motorcyclist was negligent, then obviously it's not our fault, it was the motorcyclist's fault. He was the one who caused the accident to happen and all that. Now, what if both parties were also negligent? You know, I was driving like a mad person and then the motorcyclist also decided to come and swerve in and all that without indicating that he wants to do so. So both parties were negligent. So that's what we call contributory negligence.
This is where it begins with the police's keputusan case. So if he summons a particular party, it is more inclining that that party is more at fault in that incident. More often than not, if he summoned you, it's 100% case lah. More often than not. But of course, it is down to litigation later on as well lah. Now, in a case like what you said, where both were not driving in a safe manner, right? It can be a portion 50-50.
Correct, yeah.
You have to prove, on the defense side, you have to also prove, for example, factors like the motorcyclist not wearing his helmet, maybe not having a valid driving license can be another one.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's true.
And also, another factor is if where the motorcyclist is, just riding left, right, on the road, having a gala time there.
Those mud
changing, and changing lanes, abruptly, no signal. These kind of factors all will come in as well.
Yeah, so that will contribute to the negligence as well.
And alcohol as well. Alcohol and drugs as well will also contribute.
So I think like when it comes to like assessing damages at the time, the court will also look into this, and if you were negligent as well, then that particular damages granted to you would maybe be like deducted a bit.
It'll be deducted. So it's like, if let's say the court says it's worth 100,000, but there's only 50% liability, so you pay
Just
50k.
50K, yeah. I think we've come to an end to this episode.
Mm.
I hope everyone drives safely on the road, of course. Definitely when with Raya around, definitely more accidents would happen. We already have so many cars on the road.
A lot. KL has a lot of cars nowadays.
Yeah, exactly. So I hope everyone drives safely. Everyone have a safe journey back home. Of course, I hope everyone also have a safe year. Nothing of
Drive-
this sort
yeah,
happens to you,
drive
lah. Of
safely.
course, yeah. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. Anyways, I hope this episode helps as well. If any one of y'all are facing this issue right now, I hope this is some sort of guidance to you. Of course, you need to get a lawyer. You can get whoever, maybe us. Anyways, okay. I'll see you guys on the next episode. Bye bye.
Okay, thanks. Bye.